ready to go.
Hello, and welcome to a very special video wherein Zero and I will be going over the picks for Toostupidgamerz 2017 Game of the Year Awards.
That's right, Nanners. We've both played a number of games this year, and we've ranked them according to the following categories.
The categories are Game of the Year, Runner-Ups, Shoutouts for Most Interesting Games and Games we didn't get to play, the Womp Womp Award,
Trademarked,
the Game Studio of the Year, including both publishers and developers, and the best older games we played this year.
But first, we want to go over a few rules. Rule number 1, no games prior to 2017. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Except, of course, for the best older games category.
Rule number 2, no bundles, collections, remakes, or remasters.
With the exception of localizations of games no later than 3 years ago.
Which means, if a JRPG gets localized, that's totally fine.
But if a game from the Famicom gets localized this year, doesn't count. Finally, expect only games that we play. Obviously, we can't cover every single game that was released in 2017.
So we can only award what we know.
So, without further ado, we're going to get into the categories now, starting with Shoutouts. So, Shoutouts are for games that neither of us got to play. We have some interest in these games because they appeal to us for one reason or another, or it's just a game that we got a little bit of exposure with, but not too much. Still would like to kind of give it a mention. Tethered VR is a PSVR game that's really cool. It's kind of like an RTS. The graphics are real pretty, and I have it. Did not get to play it too much, but it's definitely one of my favorite things that I've played on the PSVR thus far.
For me, one of the games I always wanted to try out this year was Gravity Rush 2. Now, I played the original Gravity Rush on the PS Vita, had a blast with it. It's a very trippy game, being able to control gravity, stand on the walls, drop, have things hover around you. I always wanted to try the sequel. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do that soon.
Yeah. Then we have SteamWorld Dig 2. So when SteamWorld Heist came out, a lot of people were not happy because they changed up the type of game, the genre. This is the game that you wanted. SteamWorld Dig 2 is an actual sequel to the first one, so it's the same thing you loved in that first game, but brand new, tons more features. Unfortunately, did not get to try it, but that is one of the things that's on my list from games from this year.
For me, the next game would be Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, I've always been a big fan of Guerrilla Games and the games that they ended up developing, and Horizon just looked amazing. I didn't get a chance to buy it. Being able to fight these huge robotic dinosaurs, going around, collecting stuff, making things, it's something I really want to try.
Then we have Styx, Master of Shadows, which is a cool sequel to a game called Styx. Don't remember the subtitle, it was really confusing, but cool co-op stealth game. What drew me to it was that it's kind of like it's reminiscent of the Thief franchise, which is super underrated and got a terrible reboot back in 2014, I believe, called Just Thief. So if you like those games, this game is for you. It fixes a lot of the problems of the first one, and it's been a lot of fun thus far.
Another game I really wanted to try out this year was Kingdom Hearts 2.8. Now, I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, played it ever since the first game. Getting a new installment, giving us just basically that little taste right before they release Kingdom Hearts 3. It's something I really want to get to know, just to prepare myself for that next game.
And finally, we have Agents of Mayhem. Just a quick shout out because I love Volition. Huge fan of Saints Row, and I was kind of hoping to get in on this game early, but I did not get it. Came out this year. Definitely gonna pick it up as soon as I can, because it's certainly my cup of tea.
For me, the last game would be Super Mario Odyssey. Super Mario, it's a no-brainer. It's a really fun game. I love Super Mario 64, and this really looks like that next entry in that Super Mario platforming, sandboxy type game. Okay, now our next category is going to be Best Older Game We've Played in 2017. And for me, that would have to be Citizens of Earth. I'm a huge RPG fan, just like Nanners over here, and Citizens of Earth is very reminiscent of Earthbound, another game I'm really, really just a big fan of. In this game, you play as the Vice President of the Earth, and instead of doing your own fighting, you have everyone else do the fighting for you. Your followers, your brother, your mother, and the attacks that they do is just hilarious. The mother will nag at the enemy. The brother will go ahead and grapple them to the floor. The backgrounds, just like in Earthbound, are trippy. The dialogue is witty and hilarious. It's one of the best games I've played, unfortunately not from this year.
And for me, my best older game that I played this year has to be Ys 7. I played it on the PSP, on my PS Vita, and it's a really cool iteration of the Ys franchise. I played it just before playing Ys 8, kind of to give it that chronological feel. It wasn't necessary, but having played Ys 8, after having played Ys 7, gave me a little better understanding, gave me a lot of things to look out for. Ys 7 has the tightest Ys soundtrack that I found thus far, and sick gameplay, great, all that stuff. All around, it's an awesome game, and definitely the best older game that I played this year. Okay, so Game Studio of the Year for 2017 goes to Sega, because despite one pretty bad brown incident this year, we actually got a lot of really good stuff from Sega. Sonic Mania was fantastic. They tried with Sonic Forces, but at least they tried. And they also did work on Persona 5, which, I mean, I have to give them a lot of credit for that. They're picking very good projects. And if you look back at some previous things from previous years, they also did work on Alien Isolation, also a fantastic game. So clearly, Sega is getting better, and they're making a lot of good choices for once.
Our next category now is going to be the Womp Womp Award, trademarked. And for the Womp Womp Award, we gave it to Valkyria Revolution. Now, nobody wanted this game. They decided to take a game so unique, so fun, and just make it generic. Nobody liked it, nobody wanted it, and it just fell real short from their target.
At the end of the day, you really could have just taken the Valkyria IP off of that game and it just made it something else. There was no need to call it a Valkyria game. It's crazy disappointment. Next we have our runner-ups. These are games that were strong contenders for Game of the Year, but they just fell short. And we're going to start with Sonic Mania. If you've been paying attention to our YouTube channel, we did a full playthrough of it because we're both huge fans. This is the Sonic game that Sonic fans have been asking for forever, and they finally gave it to us. Really, if it wasn't such a small game, it probably would have been my Game of the Year.
The next game would be Cuphead. Now, once again, if you guys have watched our channel, we did a small episode on Cuphead. It's one of the most beautiful games of this year. We love the 1930s animation style and art style. The game might be hard as hell, even Demon Souls-like, but hey, it's still fun as hell.
Yeah. Next, we have Fortnite, which, although it's a free-to-play game, it's multiplayer only. We definitely wanted to throw it in here because it has been one of the more interesting multiplayer experiences of this year. I certainly love it. It's a great game to play with a group of people or even by yourself. Just haven't had that much exposure to it yet, but it's definitely what I would say probably a great GOTY contender.
The next game is going to be Tekken 7. Now, who doesn't like Tekken? It's a great fighting game, great 3D fighter game. A lot of combos, a lot of great new characters that they added to it. Just a great game. Once again, if you see our channel, you'll see that we did a couple episodes of that this past summer.
Yep.
And also I want to throw in 3 more games. Yooka-Laylee. It's a fun 3D platformer, a lot like Banjo and Kazooie. I had a lot of fun playing it. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I love me some fighting games. Marvel vs. Capcom is one of my favorite series. I like the new tech that they took with the new characters, and it was a lot of fun. And last one is going to be Everybody's Golf. Funny enough, sports game. Didn't think it was going to be that fun, but I did have some fun with some older sports game back in the day. This was a cute, fun little new take on Hot Shots Golf, which was renamed, of course, Everybody's Golf. It's a lot of fun.
2017 was a very interesting year for video games, to say the least. We saw a lot of familiar old franchises get dusted off for mixed results, basically. We got both an impeccable Sonic game and a mediocre one. We got the worst video game of 2017, our Womp Womp, the Valkyria Revolution. But at the end of it all, two games clashed for my top pick. I'm talking, of course, about Ys 8 and Persona 5, two games from franchises that I adore, and after long periods of no new installments. Fortunately, I can only pick one. Now with Persona 5, the game was just phenomenal, and it revamped a ton of the core mechanics from previous installments. It also really pushed the boundaries of game depth. Now for some, that could be seen as a downside. Getting overwhelmed by too much to do. A basic playthrough of that game is about at least 80 hours. Meanwhile, Ys was a series that I had known much more. I played a lot of the remakes, I was really comfortable with it, and to put it simply, I was just looking forward to this game so much more than I was Persona, and even earlier on. It really does deliver in a lot of key areas like soundtrack, gameplay, characters, world exploration. This all makes for a very good new installment on a beloved, underrated franchise. But I think I may have set this game up to fail in this regard, setting the expectation bar just too high. I'm unaware if there were issues during the development process, but it certainly felt like it. And there were even some issues with the translation for the localization of a Western release, which Nice and Falcom later went on to address. Overall, I love the game, but I come away a little bit underwhelmed for this, but hopeful that if we do get a Ys 9, this game would serve as an excellent starting point to create an even better overall experience. Which leaves my Game of the Year pick for Persona 5, a game that came, it saw, and it fucking conquered. I invested so much time in the world that they built for you, collecting rare books, doing burger eating contests, and sidetracked by looking for plant material to increase my kindness stat.
Do you know the answer? Very good. All right.
There's just so much going on in that game. I feel like you can get a different result no matter how many times you play. The story is simply outstanding. It kept me guessing at every turn, no matter how far down the rabbit hole our beloved Phantom Thieves went. Even after I completed the game, it stayed with me for months. I even started cosplaying as one of the characters. Persona 5 has some of the best story, characters, art style, and gameplay all in the same package. My only regret is that two of my most anticipated games of all time came out within the same year, and I had to pick one. But when I listed out the pros and cons, I just could not find anything to criticize Persona 5 on, which is why it is my 2017 Game of the Year. I'm legitimately surprised by how complete that game feels.
Okay, now just like Nanners, I too had two games to choose from for my Game of the Year pick. And these games are Gran Turismo Sport and Digimon World Next Order. Now those of you who know me, you know I love me some racing games. Now I've been playing Gran Turismo forever. It's really one of the best car simulation games out there, and it really delivers on both graphics and gameplay. After first trying it out with the full game setup at Road Atlanta for the My Road to Greatness experience, I was hooked. The game was exactly as I expected. It was beautiful. The cars and the tracks looked fantastic. The music was a pleasure to listen to. The gameplay was also super duper smooth. Playing it on PSVR was also fantastic. It really gave you that feel of being inside the race car and driving around the racetracks. And I loved that they kept the split screen multiplayer in the game. Now when it comes to Digimon World Next Order, I was very pleasantly surprised with how the game was treated. It was first released in Japan in 2016 for the PS Vita, but when it was localized here for the United States, it got the all-star treatment. Full English voiceover, upgraded graphics, and even extra content, like the pre-order bonus to get Omegamon/Omnimon much more easily. Digimon World Next Order is also the successor to the first Digimon World game that was released on the PS1. And boy, they did fix a lot of the issues from the first game. Now, in Digimon World Next Order, you now have a second partner to play with. You're also able to obtain almost every single Digimon ever created. Training has been simplified and sped up. Battles against other tamers and other Digimon could not be more fun. And the music. My god, the music was so fun and so pleasant to listen to that hours after having put down the controller, I still found myself humming the tunes of the game. Now, I was addicted to say the least, which is what left me in a pretty weird spot. Now, I loved both Digimon and Gran Turismo, but there can only be one. With Gran Turismo Sport, even though I love the series for its constant delivery of beautiful and smooth games, I kinda already knew what to expect. It didn't really surprise me much, and it didn't really come up with new features. Now, the online racing league is cool and all, but cutting down on the amount of cars and not experimenting with newer features really held the game back for me. Now, Digimon World Next Order, on the other hand, brought a lot of new things to the table. With its double partner system, all the different branching ways to digivolve your Digimon, and one hell of a kick-ass soundtrack, Digimon World Next Order gets my pick for the 2017 Game of the Year award.
And that does it for our 2017 Game Awards video. We hope you enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to make. It's really cool to get an opportunity to share all the games that we like, the games we didn't like, and kind of riff on video games in general from 2017. 2018 looks crazy. There's a bunch of different games that are coming out that we're both looking forward to, like Valkyria Chronicles 4, Mega Man 11, Soul Calibur 6, a Digimon game,
Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
That. And yeah, so 2018 looks crazy, but that was 2017. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And yeah.
Yeah, just like the editor says, thanks for watching. Stay tuned because we're going to be releasing special covers for the 2 Game of the Year awards that we gave out with the special Toostupidgamerz Game of the Year seal on them. It'll be available for you guys to download, put it in your own game covers. Thanks everyone once again for watching. Stay tuned. We have a lot more content coming up, especially in 2018. And we hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to share, comment, and subscribe.